any farmer, whether they're big, small, medium, rich, poor, or whatever, it's in their best interest to be a good steward of their land. And regardless of who it is and what practices they have, they're out there doing, the best they can with the land that they have.
The local perception that the larger acreage farmers are bad is the problem that we face, is that conflict that has arisen from the outside, not necessarily from the farmers who farm both pieces, but from the outside.
I see other farmers and I think, maybe he's making different decisions than me, but when I'm irrigating at 2 in the morning and I see him across the road out there with his shovel at 2 in the morning and everybody else is sleeping, I think, I got a lot of respect for that guy.
To remember that I'm old enough that I grew up when organic agriculture was the only agriculture.
I mean, you talk about coexistence. I think we as conventional farmers, as GE farmers, have been very willing to coexist and do what we can to protect, the organic guys and protect the bees. I think the bees, that's, front page news anymore is the bee populations. And I think what we've done in working with all of these people to try to make habitat for bees, to try to do all the things good is important, and hopefully that the organic side of this feels the same way, to us. Coexistence works both ways.
If everybody was left alone to work together, I think that we would have a cohesiveness there, as opposed to the large farmer being pitted against the small farmer. They all have farmer hearts. A farmer's heart is to work the land and grow the crops that they want to grow.
And yes, the small farm, if they have enough labor and stuff, they can do it without any chemicals. They can do it with all manual labor. However, when you multiply 2 acres times 1,000, the amount of people and the amount of effort that it would take to do 1,000 acres, you soon find out that it's not feasible.
We're dealing with weeds based on a lot of mechanical cultivation, a lot of hand pulling, hand weeding. The guys come through and hack out with hose, which, at the end of the day is expensive.
We'll bring in, 2 or 3 guys to help out weeding pumpkins sometimes, and it's hard to find those 2 or 3 guys, let alone if you were doing hundreds of acres and needed, crews of 30 or 40, so.
It's really, as soon as one thing comes out, we have transplants ready to go in, and other things getting planted. So in fields like this, we'll get 2 or 3 crops off of the same field in the same year, and so it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hours, but at the same time, we're producing an incredible amount of food off of a small space.
I think people are always sort of looking for this answer of who's doing the right way, who's doing the wrong way, who's doing it harder, who's doing it easier. And I think when you really start understanding farming and spending time around different systems, the conclusions I've come to are, I don't think anybody's got it easy. I think we're all kind of in the same boat. And I think one of the things that's really great about the agriculture community in general is we're generally pretty tight.
I wouldn't say that we necessarily butt heads, but we kind of agree to disagree on some of the farming practices, I guess you could say. I think it's huge to have a place where kids can connect to nature, where events can happen. A lot of the farmers I know are really passionate and active in the community. Whenever there's a nonprofit fundraiser, the farmers are there donating things, donating time. I think it's an integral piece of our community more and more every year here in Boulder County.
They have their challenges as well as we do. They may be a little differently, but the bottom line is we're all trying to stay in business.